to Beautiful Subconscious, our final episode of 2024. But can I please just give you the most trippiest update? I have attempted to record this exact episode 4 times, and I've had technical difficulties that don't usually occur happen. And I think it's because I know it to be true because I am expressing the kinesiological balance that I've given myself today, as well as the balance I gave my business. And I think the frequency of that is so big that our software, right, it needs to upgrade with us. So to hold that space, it's a lot. So we had Riverside, I record the podcast on, completely fumble and just cut half of it out, which has never happened before. My storage on my phone, that got the better of it. So that just started cutting out the recording. So I'm just like, isn't this wild? It's not even a Mercury retrograde. It is simply this energy that it's just trying to harmonize. So let's wish this one well. I feel like it's going to be good. But this episode, being the last episode of 2024, it is reflecting on the year. It is letting go. I'm sharing the predictions I have for 2025 and leaving us with, of course, an affirmation that is not only for this episode, but for 2025 for you. So let's get right on into it. I was chatting to a girlfriend who is like a kinesiology bestie. She's like a soul sister. It's so interesting where we have these different groups, but there's probably 4 of us in our kinesiology container. And what I mean by container is like there's this sacred energetic space that we are plugged into and learn through and represent and a part of, that we just get each other on so many levels. And because we are on this journey together, we can often share what's moving through us on a personal level, energetic level, professional level. We chat like a few times a week. And I was chatting to her earlier and I'm like, I don't even remember the version of me back in January. And so I was trying to scroll up our messages and I got to like August. I'm like, my goodness, we talk a lot. It's processing. We process a lot because we're holding these spaces for clients and they're moving through their things. You want to be a clear vessel as much as you can. So things come up for us in service of us to evolve and integrate it in and ascend out of that. And we're obviously on our own human journey. So things come up as well. So there's a lot that we process. And I got to August and I was like, you know what? I don't need to backdate any further. I actually truly feel like I have had a whole year since July. So January, that's probably feels like 4 years ago. So I'm going to share with you the balance that I gave myself today, the balance that I gave my business today, and what it revealed to me. And I would love to hear if this connects with you, if you feel that this is very similar or resonates with you, because it's very likely that this is in service of you too, and you'll be getting some sort of, I guess, with the conscious awareness, there'll be a shift within you too. And so it started off with, firstly, my energy levels on average for 2024. The first number that came to my head was a 5 out of 10. A 5 out of 10. Crazy, I know. The muscle that I was testing showed up as a 4 out of 10. So a little less, but nonetheless halfway there. So, I mean, we understand that things fluctuate. There wasn't a time where I was always 5 out of 10. It'd be time that I'd be like, hitting 8, 9s, I'm sure, max to a 10 out of 10 at some point, and then also lower than that. But on average, I was just like, there was a lot that I didn't give myself the adequate amount of time to rest, which is, a beautiful human journey for me. And I think many can relate to that, right? Like, so we have this energy. So say when vibing at that 8, 9 out of 10, I was like, cool, I feel really good. I'm going to burn it all and like just see what I can get done, because there's all these things I want to get done. And it's often things that I enjoy, until you drop back to say the 4 or 5 out of 10, and that's become your norm. That exact thing can replicate in finances too. It's like, oh, cool. I made some money like this week, more so than, so I'm going to buy the things that I needed to get that. And then you come back to that space, that threshold of just like, that point again. And it's understanding and being aware of that pattern and that programming, and then attune your body and balance your body to be okay in the space of having energy and not feeling like you need to expel it, not feeling like you need to give it to other people or to do more things because you have the energy. You've got the right and it's needed to learn how to sit in that space and not have it going anywhere but being with you. And that can, you can apply that to, yes, finances for sure. You can apply that to your time with your family. You don't actually need to do anything every time that you're together. It's just like, we just got to be okay just to be. And so that came through, and that was very beneficial for me to really grasp that on a conscious level. So going into 2025, I'm going to actively be more intentional with being okay in space. And actually the other day I went to the beach and it was stinking hot here and it was a beautiful beach day. There was no wind here for Perth and it was just, the water was crystal, and I've just been feeling really tapped in. Like I've been actively making choices and reading books to be more energetically tapped in. And so I was listening to my audiobook on the way there of Gabby Bernstein. She's incredible. A Universe Has Your Back. I actually brought another book of Gabby's, coincidentally, to the beach, Super Attractor. And I brought my phone and towel and shade. So it was so hot that my phone wasn't working, which was an absolute blessing. It overheated. So they were like, it wasn't playing games. So it gave me the opportunity just to really bask in my light and bask in that presence. So much so that walking down onto the beach, there were women walking up and they stopped and they were just like, oh, you look really beautiful today. And I was like, it was the frequency, it was the vibration that I was emitting that they could connect with that and could feel that alignment of that, the illumination of that. And so they probably weren't, maybe not, like unconsciously aware of that. But I was so received. It was like a universal nod of like, yes, this is where you want to be a lot of the time. Like, stay here. This is the frequency. Like, stay here. Whatever you can do, come back to this frequency. This is it. I'm affirming this for you. This is your frequency. This is your frequency of light. So I definitely took that on board and doing my best to keep coming back to that. When I drop, coming back to that, coming back to that. And it's like a muscle coming back to that all the time. But I was able to just really be in the presence of the beauty around. Like, the water was crystal. I looked up, there was boats just anchored in. There were families on the shoreline, like just playing. There were girlfriends, there were groups of friends, there were couples. It was just, and it felt like a really chilled energy. Like everyone was just present wherever they were. And I could read a few chapters or read a few lines and jump back in the water to cool back off, then come back out and then do that again. Like, I don't do that often. I don't bring a book down to the beach. If I go down to the beach, I'll go for a walk, I'll go for a beach dip, I'll go for a swim, love on it, then leave. Like, to actually be there and read a book and just to be present, I don't do that. And I'm going to be inviting that more into my life next year from here on in, because it was so therapeutic just to be in the space of not needing to do or get a task done. Like, we can do these wellness, soulful things, but with that energy of it's a task on the list. It's a task on the list. It's going to make me feel good for a second. So yeah, I want that. But is it really dialing up your energy? So that was incredible to be aware of. And so what next showed up was the energy of codependency, which was intriguing because I definitely identify with being hyper independent, and even to a point where I'm going to touch on that in the next sort of dot point that I've got. But I think the codependency is the codependency on independence, the codependency on not asking for help, the codependency on I can do it on my own. Like, that's my badge of honor, like being so dependent on that. And that's where the struggle comes from. That's where the wounding comes from. And I often see codependency if I'm wearing the lenses of codependency and I see it in my external world, and it does trigger me. I'm just like, oh, come on, you can do, like, why are you so codependent on that person? Or like, can't you think for yourself? And I judge, I'm in that state of judgment, and it's showing up for me that even though my codependency is in and around a different sort of way, it's still the same paradigm of imbalanced codependency. Codependency will always exist. It's finding that neutrality on it. And so it was revealing to me where I was still holding a wounded part of codependency in and around my independence, in and around not asking for help, in and around doing it all on my own. So that was very, very interesting to move through. And so gave myself the techniques and the corrections that it required to find that state of peace within it. And so not feeling that charge within the body on that. Hello, lovely listeners. Our Total Life Transformation Program is live. If you feel stuck in your health, career, relationships, or money, this is the chance for a complete revamp. Over 6 months, you'll experience powerful changes that will transform every part of your life. With the guidance of 5 specialists, so yours truly, a kinesiologist, money mentor, functional health practitioner, career advisor, and our relationship coach, we address 4 key life pillars: your health, your career, your money, and your relationships. One investment shifts you from feeling low-key unfulfilled to fully energized and inspired in every area of your life. Health. If stress, emotional baggage, or unhealthy habits drain you, we will help release what's in your subconscious and create a personalized nutrition and supplement plan to reset your energy and health. Career. If you feel lost or stuck in your career, our kinesiologist and career mentor provide clarity, confidence, and an action plan to move forward with purpose. Money. If scarcity or fear around money keeps you stuck, we heal your financial blueprint. With our money mentor, you will gain practical strategies to confidently manage your finances for life. And relationships, if disconnection in your relationships leave you feeling unseen, we heal emotional wounds, leading to deeper connection, trust, and love. Now it's time to create your extraordinary life. So book your clarity call now for our Total Life Transformation Program, because it is live and waiting for you. The next thing that showed up for me is resentment. So I am actively choosing what I want to bring into 2025. I'm going to take accountability for the emotions that are stored in my body that need to be resolved so I don't bring that in to 2025. And resentment is there. And what showed up was in and around my family, not my kids. And I even feel really grateful for the relationship that I have with my kids. I'm actually basking in such a deep sense of appreciation for the relationships that I have with my kids, even the relationships that I have with the kid's dad and other exes and other people that I've dated. I'm just like, there's a sense of such appreciation for that connection. Where I hold resentment is to my family, like my siblings and my mom, my parent, like my family. And I was muscle testing if there's anyone like specific, but it was like a collective energy, a resentment in and around that. And so that was interesting and definitely triggering, because I'm like, oh, like, and even sharing that, I was like, oh, is this going to get spiky? But it was just one of those things of, I'm sure many people can relate to the sweep things under the rug. These guys that you go through, you go your whole life with them. Like, there's this level of resentment, like swept under the rug of things just maybe not said or moved through. And I'm sure I absolutely have it towards me as well. But it's like having that just accumulate and feel like almost like grime in the energy film. It's like you've got to give yourself a full, thorough, deep spring clean. And so this is what was coming through for me. And so I balanced through that. And it was, nice to find that neutrality even on resentment, because that's what we need, right? Even resentment, even anger, even sadness, even shame. It's finding the neutrality on that emotion, because it's when we have our own interpretation and meaning backed behind it, then that's what makes it the energy that it is. And so when we find that neutrality, then you get to choose. Like, I even want neutrality on love and joy and enlightenment. Like, I want to feel neutral on that, because when you're so out of balance and you're like, I need the love or I need the joy, if that gets taken away from you, then you feel that you're in a state of lack and you return back to that state of suffering. But when you're in neutrality on that, then you get to apply your conscious choice on that emotion. Like, yes, I'm consciously choosing to be that love, to invite that joy in, to invite that authentic connection in. I'm not needing it like it's like my pulse, but it's like I get to choose that. So there's an energetic frequency that differs in which way, in your intentions behind it. So that was what was showing up. And so there was, a lot of choosing the energy that I want to bring in. So finding that neutrality on resentment and balancing that out and giving my body what it needs for that. And who knows, that can change. Like, cause I get along with my siblings, really well. Like generally we get along so well. Like we are each other's soul sisters and brothers. But, we can also be freaking hot-headed humans. And when we differ, we differ. So it's like balancing out those connections and the resentment built up in and around that. We are still human. So it's stabilizing the love. Where else did we go? We went through so many different spaces. Actually, the next thing that I will share, which is a little bit more vulnerable, was the reflection of 2024 and how I can feel almost tears coming through. I need to I'm choosing to allow myself to be loved. I have and had a lot of love in my, directed to me and received, but I'm also very well aware of the push-pull dynamic that I can have, where I like to keep them at a certain distance and not really let them all the way in. And again, that ties in with the hype of I'm getting hot. I'm literally getting hot. So I'm definitely moving through this right now. But I can keep them at a distance, and it ties in with this hyper independence because it's my coping mechanism to protect myself. And I'll date it back to, my mum wasn't always emotionally available. My dad was physically unavailable. He was always working overseas. So there was that sense of I've got to work it on my own. I've got to give myself my own love. But there's this standard of it's never enough. I'm never enough. I'm never enough for my dad to stay. Oh God, I didn't even realize that's bringing up tears in my eyes. I'm never enough for my mum just to really get me for who I am, without her needing to change the way that I say things, change the person that I am, change the way that I need to present myself. And so that sense of I'm never enough can replicate in and around relationships, whether it's me feeling like that towards them or me emitting that towards them, that they don't feel enough for me. And so there's this sense of I can feel the love. There's beautiful, but it's also I make it hard to be loved and to receive love. And when we see these people to be mirrors of ourselves, it's me wanting to love all parts of me. It's me wanting to love myself too, but I also make it hard for me to love myself. I make it hard. So it's 2025. I want to let myself love myself, all parts of me. And when I am hard on myself, I want to love that part of me even more. I'm not going to be pushed away by the hard. I'm going to embrace that hard approach and meet it with love. That's what I want to do. That's how I want to be. And whether or not that's, invites a romantic relationship on that level, it all starts with us, right? We know that to be true. So that is a very vulnerable space for me to, I guess, own and bring awareness to, but it's so empowering at the same time because really allowing love in and to not be so hard on myself. And I think the women that come to my programs, we mirror each other, right? Whether or not there's a part of where I've evolved from might be where they're coming in and meeting me in my programs now. So there's a whole bunch of evolutionary ascended circuitry that I can offer them energetically, but we're balancing out the same sort of thing in a sense, if that makes sense. And you'll hear it if it resonates, and if it doesn't, that's okay too, because I just trust in who receives this will receive it as they should. And so letting that awareness of we don't need to be so hard on ourselves, and the part of us that feels like we need to be so hard on ourselves, meet it with so much love, because that's what it deeply, deeply wants. And that'll be one of my major lessons for 2025, or the areas that I really want to draw upon and embark on in 2025. Then moving on, I balanced my business. So that wasn't something that I consciously was going to, but it just kind of drew in and around my balance too. So the business itself, it's its own entity. It's its own personality, so to speak. And so as it's evolving in its own way, we're cleaning up like the circuitry that can have been accumulated over the clients that we've had over the whole time of existence, and even the ones that we're not aware of yet. That's a whole other thing. So don't jump on that too much, because that's a whole nother episode. But then we want to be able to clean it up and be like a full clear vessel of what is going to be attracted for 2025. And what came through is the women that are going to come through, and the clients that are going to come through this now and this year are the women that want to work in their light. They want to be like their full expression of their light. They know that they've got these blind spots in and around, or like this discord of that. But they're like, I'm tired of running this hard game. I'm tired of being so like put on, like just rigid and operating on this pressure and judgment of myself and of others. I'm just going to put that down now, and I'm going to own my light and let whatever comes through and how that's expressed to come through and be expressed. I can't, like, there's even almost like the way that I'm trying to verbalize exactly what came through. I'm just like, oh, it's there, but it's like there's still even a little bit of the dialogue of this is still forming. But the women that want to really work within their light are these women who have operated in this like modern day world of like, I've got to get all these tasks on. I've got to make sure I look great. I've got to make sure that I'm, working my ass off in my job. I've got to make sure I've got the best outfits. I've got to make sure I'm like there for my kids. And all that pressure. It's like they're now greeting that with their own unique essence of light. And they might not hear it consciously, because our logical mind be like, what the freak does that even mean? But their soul will hear this, their subconscious will hear this, and they'll know and they'll hear this. So my predictions for 2025 is exactly that. Like, so many women are going to now be like, I'm putting that paradigm down. I'm not going to be running that game anymore where I'm just feeling like I'm just not doing enough, even though I'm exhausted. I'm busting my metaphorical balls, and I'm just done with that story. Time is more aware, like it's going faster, and my time is going faster because we are ascending in consciousness. So when we're ascending into high levels of frequency, then that moves faster. So therefore time is moving faster, but then also simultaneously time is not in existence. So I'm really in it right now. So you might hear this or you might not. So I'm just letting that ground on in, but it's like time doesn't exist, but it does, and it's moving faster. So there's awarenesses that it's going to be moving faster. I'm going to jump on board this train, and I'm just going to let go of the stories and dive into this frequency of faith and trust. I don't have all the answers yet, but I'll figure it out. I'm diving into faith and just going for what seems right for me, even if it doesn't make any logical sense, because I'm done with being logical all the time. I'm done with running like the same, ticking all the boxes and playing by the rules that, that the system is set. I'm exhausted from that. It's not serving me. Time is running. So you know what? I'm putting that story down, and I'm coming home to myself. I'm drawing in faith, and I'm just allowing. So I predict there'll be jobs that will probably be quit, which, chances are like people are going to change their jobs in any space of 12 months. We know that to be true, but it's just like they're going to be going for different jobs that's probably not going to make as much sense as what it had in the past, but they're doing it anyway, and they're willing and trusting in it'll all figure out. Same with, their own spiritual journey. Same with their own working within themselves. They're going to be asking for support now, even like they're, tired of running that thing. I've got to do it on my own. They're asking for support. They're allowing that support in. They're allowing them to be supported through those vulnerable spaces that they're so new to. This is a new space for them. Vulnerability and understanding themselves in a non-linear sense is a new territory. They almost feel like they're learning to walk in this space. They're toddlers, and they're allowing themselves to be supported and to be that in that learner space. And I'm very excited for that. So that's my predictions. People are going to now just really lean in and own their authenticity, their authentic light, and expressing that in whatever way is true. It's probably going to throw some curveballs to their family that know them in their way that they do. And that's going to be okay, because they're like, you know what? I have to own this for myself now. I just have to, because there's nothing feels more right than this, than coming home to a more truer version of myself. So I'm extremely excited to be on this journey for those who are getting called for this, because I can feel you, I can hear you, and I can see you to be true. And it's going to be a wild ride. Shell Marie Kinesiology, our total life transformation program. We're ready. We're here. We're ready to just lean in and be like, all right, let's flippin' go. Let's support you energetically. Let's help you in the ways that you need to be supported on a practical sense, on a one-to-one sense. No more doing it on your own. We're not designed to do that. So I'm really, really, really pumped. So signing out this episode, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for sharing this space with me. Thank you for allowing this connection, whether we have connected physically, in person, professionally, or through this podcast or online. Thank you for this connection. Thank you for allowing whatever drove you to listen in and just that sense of inquiry, even if it doesn't make sense. Thank you for following that carrot. Thank you for allowing yourself that newness in something that I don't logically know yet, but there's something here for me. Please keep leaning into that. And I will continue to do the same. I know it's not always comfortable. I'm not making out that I have all the answers right in front of me, but I know that we can always access them through our body. We've just got to be open and clear what's in the way. Be open, allow to receive, embody that worth of that. And I'm here for you if any one of those areas are feeling like they're blocked, feeling like we can't connect, feeling like there's just this sense of discord with it. Let me support you through that. 2025 will be 2020 Thrive, and I cannot wait. So until then, live life liberated.
Audience exclusive.